yourself to the stage. Yes, I am on the stage here. Let me get myself together. You see the nighttime background. You hear our legendary music. And then there is, wait for it, me. Hi, everybody. Yes, I voted today. I think it's voting day in Ohio and Kentucky. So hopefully everybody did vote. If you did vote, I understand it because let me tell you something with the government we have. Sometimes it is hard to believe that your voice matters when you're not seeing change happen. So, no judgment on you if you did not vote, but I voted today. So, glad to have all of you here. So, let's do what we do and go on tour. Now, um, I am going to show y'all this and read it verbatim here. Okay, so let me get my music turned down because I want y'all to be able to hear me here. Okay, so this is the article verbatim. Now I highlighted it because I want to make sure that I am reading each part to y'all. Okay, so this is how the article starts. The housewife woke up in her own urine. She was still drunk from the night before, but when she had 3 drinks at dinner, another 3 or 4 with her co-stars, then in term in term basically not determinable, but deliberate amount of mezcal. Mezcal is tequila. Um, After her castmates went to sleep, the house had been fully stocked when they arrived. She was too hung over to care that she wet the bed and so sick that she couldn't film. She told production, but people on set kept telling her she was fine. It was just the Mexican water screwing up her stomach. The same thing had happened to them in Cartagena, Colombia, the year before. The van hired for the day trip pulled over so the housewife could throw up. When the crew saw what was happening, they rushed over, she said, not to help, but to document it. Bravo did wind up airing that footage. Production did bring in a doctor who gave the housewife a shot. She pulled her pants down on camera and took it while a castmate held her hand. Whew, if you go to the whorehouse, you're going to get fucked, said another real housewife. She knows what you think, and that if you sign up to be on Bravo reality show, you deserve what you get. And she agrees. If we do this, it's our own peril. We know that we don't fucking care. So that's the opening paragraph of this. And I have to tell you, just this alone pisses me off because it's like, first of all, I get, libations, alcohol, what have you, is the window into the soul. However, for her to be so sick that she couldn't film and that she wet the bed, but people on set was kept telling her she was fine, was uncool. And then not to mention for her to pull her pants down on camera for a shot to go up her behind. I really, just really welcome in everybody. So you see the opening paragraph here. We are breaking down the Vanity Fair NBC Universal Bravo expose, breaking it down and giving you the reviews. So this opening paragraph is talking about a housewife um, who was on a trip and that she woke up in her own urine and that she was too hung over together. She wet the bed so sick she could not film. It happened in Cartagena, Colombia the year before. And so a van hired for the day trip pulled over so the housewife could throw up. And when the crew saw what was happening, they rushed over. She said not to help, but to document it. So Bravo did not air that footage. So that's the opening paragraph here. So let's keep rolling. Welcome in. Glad to have all you here. This is Brainly Virtual Tour Live. We are on tour about Vanity Fair and Bravo here. So let me do this here. Okay. So this is the next part. They do it for the money in part, more than $1 million a season for the highest paid cast members, but it's more than that. The second housewife remembers being a little girl plotting in her diary to achieve public recognition. I used to dream that one day that I get to go on Jeopardy and would have that put in my obituary, she says. Now when she dies, she will leave this moral coral having been a reality star. She's grown accustomed to cruel moments about her body and face, vitriol about her life, but she has also come accustomed to the validation. Have I been put through the ringer? She says, 100%. Still better than my worst day withering away at a life of quiet desperation. When this housewife, speaking on the condition of anonymity because she doesn't want to lose her nightmare of a dream job, went to last year's BravoCon, a 3-day convention attended by 30,000 or so fans. She turned to two former fellow Bravo celebrities and said, "How do I ever be happy after this? This is the deal Bravo stars make with the devil." And there are many stars. There are currently 10, count 10 Real Housewives shows and about 20 other properties in the Bravo reality space, including the Emmy-winning Top Chef and the improbable Emmy nominee Vanderpump Rules, the biggest series having 11 million viewers each. Network exec turned master of ceremonies Andy Cohen hosts Watch What Happens Live, a nightly talk show on which non-Bravo celebrities and cast play games as Cohen polls the at-home audience with questions like, which Real Housewife of New Jersey had the better bad nose job? Says here that Bravo, which is owned by NBC Universal, distributes the series on cable and via the streaming service Peacock. The shows are produced by third-party partners like Vanity and Warner Bros. Discovery. You're seeing that right. Warner Brothers Discovery is also in this thing. And we know that Warner Bros. Discovery is a part of the Oprah Winfrey Network, which is Love and Marriage Huntsville. Advanced Magazine Publishers Inc., which owns Condé Nast, which owns Vanity Fair, owns a stake in Warner Bros. Discovery. Those partners have subsidiary production companies like 51 Minds Entertainment, which makes most of the charter yacht franchises of Below Deck, Shed Media, Real Housewives of New Jersey and Salt Lake City, the All-Star Housewife Show, Ultimate Girls Trip, also known as UGT. Production companies are on the ground during the filming of these shows. The series cast members orbit around Cohen, who described himself to me in a 2021 interview for New York Magazine as their boss, among other roles, including father. It's an unusual employment arrangement and in a singular workplace. If you watch these shows, the words Scary Island or Dinner Party from Hell or Amsterdam are a wormhole to the collective memory of a fandom. If you don't watch, it's easiest to think of these obscenely unscripted but highly produced series as the Bravo Setback Universe or the BCU, an interconnected group of characters linked by Watch What Happens Live, social media, and crossover series. The stars are usually affluent, awfully poorly behaved people, mostly women who either know that they are ridiculous or don't care if anyone thinks they are. As Lisa Shannon, Senior Vice President of Programming and Development at Shed, has said, this is a comedy. So, as we keep rolling on here, what I find interesting about this is that it's like they know what they're signing up for, but because the trade-off is so good, they deal with it. And to me, I sincerely don't understand how big reality TV has got. Like, yes, I cover it. I know y'all watch it, but it does get a little, how shall we say, it's long in the tooth because after a while, it's like, okay, what's real and what's fake? And the fact that the president of Shed Media said that this is a comedy is beyond funny. And for Andy Cohen to be their boss, among other roles, father, that's a little sus or suspect. But the material is not always funny. Leanie Sweet relapsed after 9 years of sobriety before her first season on The Real Housewives of New York City. Her recollection of a 2019 cast trip in Mexico described at the beginning of the story is from one of many interviews conducted over many months with current and former housewives, producers, and Bravo staffers about the things that viewers haven't seen: racist language and behavior, the real world effects of making entertainment out of destructive interpersonal relationships, the downside of fame, substance abuse beyond the meme fodder that drives fan discourse. According to some housewives, Bravo should answer for breaking them down for storylines. According to those who are responsible for the shows, however, The cast are largely in control of their own destinies. Now, with one of the most famous Bravo stars, Bethany Frankel, calling for a union, two legal complaints have been filed by Town the last year. NBC Universal releasing renewed guidance around cast behavior and production oversight. The Bravo universe is in the midst of a reckoning. And I will agree with that. Before we move on to part two, it definitely is in a reckoning. I feel like they are in a reckoning for the simple fact that for so long they have allowed these people who may or may not know each other to take an inch and make it a mile, not recognizing the profound impact of mental health. Um, and Ramona Singer, she was not able to attend BravoCon because she called somebody the N word. So there is a climate of, as long as it was good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And I think that, you know, Bravo is hitting their iceberg. So as we roll on here, oh, the Silver, thank you so much, Queen. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Thank you. Listen, I'm trying over here. It's just me right now, but I want to do this topic, and I'm just gonna. This will be for the replay people, but thank you, De Silva. Love you very much. I feel the love and send it right back to you. Y'all check her out. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the legendary De Silva. Let's keep going. That was an amazing surprise. I love it. So, anyone who has watched reality TV since The Real World first premiered in 1992 is at least particularly aware of the normalization of televised intoxication. But alcohol has become a character itself as the lubricant that made the cast of the Jersey Shore DTF and the bubbles that preceded A Thousand Bachelor Tears. On Bravo shows, there are champagne rooms and fireball nips and fireball bottles and Belvedere. By the way, Belvedere is a vodka and soda served in short glasses with three lemons cries out. There are nightly drinking games on Watch What Happens Live and weekly shot skis, where Cohen and the guests take shots off, yes, a ski. During a panel at BravoCon in 2022, a Ultimate Girls Trip producer told fans that during filming, cast member Marisol Patton started her mornings with cookies, juice, and vodka. The audience loved it. According to one housewife, the cast stashed water bottles filled with clear alcohol around the set, both to calm their own nerves, and they hoped to particularly get one volatile cast member crazy drunk. She felt like the producers hoped so too. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, just to be thank you so much, Queen. And we are going to talk soon. I love you. And thank you. She is amazing, y'all. More than I can put into words. I mean that. Um, it's just faster and easier. The housewife says, trying to give the producers what they want cast members to describe. Some producers using big words, phrases when written in large font on their phones, held up to redirect conversations. Former Real Housewife of New York, Ebony K. Williams, says she ignored one that read, "Bring up Sonya's drinking," referring to Sonya Morgan. Before a day of shooting begins, the production team sends out the beats of each scene, the topics that they've written and want addressed. The following is a beat by Vanity Fair for an episode that was filmed in November of 2020. This was still during the pandemic with Vid. Sonya is on a loop, and this abuse of pills and alcohol has been going on for way too long. Is there anything that they can do, or do they need to just be there for her when she falls? When she was on Roni, Real Housewives of New York, Frankel says, "I was talking to producers on how we're going to bring into the show that Luann, Countess Luann, fiance has cheated on her. A person with knowledge said that Frankel acted on her own accord, or a producer comes in and tells me that somebody's trying on wedding dresses when they're not engaged, and I bring that into a scene." According to Sweeney and Williams, producers did not suggest curtailing Morgan's on-set drinking, even as they instructed cast members to discuss it. Whatever has aired on the shows is reflective of her experience, says someone who is familiar with production. Shed's current alcohol policy states, "We have always strived to depict cast members as being authentic on its shows. Therefore, cast members and cast members only make their own decisions about whether to consume alcohol. McSweeney turned it up. She drank and drank and took off her clothes and threw a lit tiki torch across the lawn. When the episode aired, Hurricane Leah will be instantly iconic, a rare first season star. So let's break that down for a second. So you already have alcohol in clear bottles to allegedly keep the cast in check, but also to make a cast member go out of control. So those are circumstances, or those are heightened and manufactured circumstances, right? So that's already toxic. So you already have a cast, for example, that's already having volatility, and then you put them in this environment where when they're getting water, they're getting alcohol, and all this is alleged. Okay, I wasn't there, you wasn't there, we all wasn't there, but it's just boggling my mind that you already have these people willing to give of themselves to the world. Because guess what? With Peacock, it's international now. And I think there's different international. There's Bravo UK, there's Bravo Africa, there's Bravo Dubai, things like that. But it's just mind-boggling to me that they've already have subjected their mind enough to be in this, and now you want to be able to impact their mind by allowing alcohol to be the guide for all these storylines. Allegedly, this is just how I'm reading it. Okay, so I'm reading this as a consumer and also as a person in the media game. So let's keep rolling because there's a lot here. So hot sheets are production's daily post filming logs. They describe on-camera action and dialogue in detail, from cast spats to Ramona Singer's dog peeing on her floor. Cohen receives the hot sheets for the shows on which he is a producer, including The Real Housewives and Ultimate Girls Trip. A person who works in production says that they are written by the field team and distributed to the post-production team that uses them in the edit, as well as various executives at Bravo and NBC Universal. So basically, think about it like this. If you're in college, right, or let's just say that you're in the workplace, when you get the agenda for the meeting, that is your hot sheet. If you're in college, you're getting a study guide, that is your hot sheet. Okay, it's just to relate to the rest of us who are not in the world of media. So, and this probably happens on every reality show. Now, of course, Survivor, Big Brother, The Amazing Race, that's a little bit different because The Amazing Race, you're traveling around the world. So there's a lot of beats happening in real time. Big Brother is more contained, and that house is a house, but it's built on a sound stage. You understand? And then with Survivor, you're on the island for 39 days. So it's not like so the beats with those shows are a lot bigger. And yes, they do use hot sheets to give it to post-production to make those episodes. But with this format of reality TV, they're shooting 12 to 14-hour days, right? And so you got to take that day, make a hot sheet of that day, give it to the team. They distribute the beats for that. Because this is just my thinking. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is an episode. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is an episode. So let's say we take the beats of each day and put them in a hot sheet and then give them to post-production. That's how it works, okay? Just giving y'all a little context here. So off-camera interactions aren't discussed on hot sheets, but executives have become aware of certain complaints. Real Housewives of New York season 13 featured Williams, the show's first Black cast member. In 2020-2021, Singer's alleged racial hostility and use of the N-word in conversation with a black crew member during season 13 production was the subject of complaints within shared media, Warner Brothers Discovery, Bravo, and NBC Universal. Now, for those of you who are wondering why is Warner Brothers Discovery in this, I'm gonna go back up just a little bit so you guys can see right here. Shows are produced by third-party partners like Bungie and Warner Bros. Discovery. Advanced Magazine Publishers Incorporated, which owns Condé Nast, which owns Vanity Fair, owns a stake in Warner Bros. Discovery. So just to give a little context here, that Warner Bros. Discovery is very deep into a lot of different things. I mean, Disney owns everything in terms of animation and movies, and they own a lot of TV, but Warner Bros. Discovery, they own a lot in terms of production resources. So um, just to give y'all a little context there. So companies declined to comment on the specific allegations. Singer continued to film after the alleged incidents has since been part of 2 seasons of Ultimate Girls Trip and appeared on Watch What Happens Live as this story was going to press. When asked if she used the N word in conversation with a Black Mirror production, Singer responded, "Never. Everyone wants to be the bag of ish. Everyone wants the bag of ish not to be on them at all times, or shit," to quote this article. Vanity Frankel told Vanity Fair, Frankel being Bethany Frankel, the most successful housewife of all time, would know. In July, she called for her former reality TV peers to unionize and directed them to legal resources, which is SAG-AFTRA. Now, SAG-AFTRA is a actors union. Now, SAG-AFTRA just rejected the last best and final offer from Warner Brothers Discovery, Disney, and Paramount. So they've rejected that last final offer. So the strike may be going on to January. But the reason why I bring that up is because Bethany Frankel and SAG have teamed up. Now, will there be a reality TV union? I do not know. But I just want to give context to why, to how Bethany Frankel is in the midst of all this. She described some of these castmates and crew as people I will never give the time of day, who I judge through this toxic process, and who I may have a past I normally respect, but who have been tossed away after being used like trash. As she put, it's killed or to be killed. So this is part of a hot sheet. Like I said, the hot sheet earlier is the beats of what happened in the different scenes that they shot that day, and they send it to the post-production team to use for the edit, but it's also distributed to Andy Cohen and different executives at Bravo and NBC Universal. So Silver Hill Hospital, Leah McSweeney, or Sweeney Leah, admitted January 23rd, 2022, emotional trauma, the show, exploitation, the show, psychological trauma. I can say that all that ish or shit is the show. But at the same time, I did a deal with the devil, so I need to figure out how to deal with it and when, but at what cost. In May 2019, nearly 3 years before she checked into a psychiatric hospital, McSweeney was auditioning for The Real Housewives. "I'm drinking again, but it's fine," McSweeney, 41, says she told the producer. She says that she had been sober for almost it says that she has been sober for almost a decade up to that point, and she describes this moment as her first attempt to minimize her substance abuse issues with Bravo. The conversation moved on to McSweeney's apartment size, small for a housewife, and what she thought of the other cast members. On August 2nd, 2019, Lisa Shannon at Shed called McSweeney to tell her that she got the job. The next day, McSweeney says she stopped drinking. According to McSweeney, her contract was $3,000 an episode. As a matter of policy, Shed does not comment on compensation because they do not want the salaries to be out where cast members have more control than the production company. When you become a star with a network, You do not want the star to be bigger than the network. And what ends up happening sometimes is based on how somebody carries themselves, the star, right, will use the network. The network will rise them up to the point where the star is up here and now the network is down here, right? So you don't want the star to be bigger than the network. So this hand is supposed to be the network up high and mighty. The star is supposed to be down here. Well, the star is higher than the network, which is here now. That's where the power imbalance is. The network wants to be always in power. Um, and so they control the circumstances where they'll make you grateful to be there. And if you don't do this, we'll get somebody else to do the job because there's other people that want it. Just like with the Ellen DeGeneres show, there was a scandal with some executive producers of the Ellen DeGeneres show. That is also Telepictures is a production company under Warner Bros. Discovery, and Ellen left her show. It was almost her 20-year anniversary, but because of those allegations, she left her show because of many different things. There was racial, there was just so many different things. So reality TV and daytime TV has some similarities of shut up, do your job, be grateful that you're here because we get somebody else to be here. So little context here, little context. So let's just say that Real Housewives of New York City has 20 episodes. So I'm going to do $3,000 times 20. That's a $60,000 check, right? So not a big check, but to the rest of us, $60,000 is a lot of money. Okay, so let's keep on rolling here. More than a month later, on an early September cast trip to the Hamptons, McSweeney began drinking again. I don't consider myself an alcoholic at all. I've been drinking for the last 6 months or so, and I pick and choose when I drink, she said on camera that season. McSweeney says that she was trying to keep her relapse from becoming a storyline. McSweeney says co-showrunner Darren Moore had warned her, "This shit is boring as hell, and you better turn it up." Moore did not respond to questions from Vanity Fair. Of course, he could not, because this may or may not be a legal matter. So if he comments, then guess what? That breaks the case. But also, too, he may be trying to protect himself as well. So let me get my fan on, y'all. I'm just trying to be cool and stay cool here. Okay, so let me try to get my fan. Check it level there. Okay. So let's keep rolling. McSweeney turned it up. She drank and took off her clothes. And we already talked about this here, right? So here's the thing. She took off her clothes and wearing only a thong rather, she threw a lit tiki torch across Singer's lawn. She doesn't remember that evening because she was browned out, she said. But when the episode aired in April 2020, McSweeney as Hurricane Leah was instantly iconic. McSweeney said that in April 2020, during an off-air exchange on Watch What Happens Live, Cohen asked her, "Were you already drinking, or was your relapse at the winery or on the trip?" She told him that she wasn't dry when filming began, hoping to de-emphasize it. She believes that he looked disappointed that exact moment of McSweeney's relapse when we document on the show. During the taping of season 12 in August 2020, McSweeney said Cohen asked which drugs she used during her active addiction. Through a Bravo representative, Cohen declined to answer questions. Let's see here. Okay. The following season, according to McSweeney, Morgan was so inebriated that she vomited and urinated herself on a different trip to the Hamptons. Whatever footage there may have, I think is whatever footage they may have did not air. Morgan did not respond to questions from Vanity Fair, and a source with insight says that producers don't recall the incident. Someone documented in the hot sheet for October 22nd, 2020, that Morgan was continuously getting more and more out of control and drunk. In 2015, during a trip to Atlantic City, a Real Housewife of New York cast member told production that Morgan was too drunk to film and that a real intervention was necessary. Frankel staged one on camera. It didn't take. McSweeney says the only time production intervened in her own drinking was when singer complained to producers that McSweeney had been too disruptive while filming in Rhode Island. On the trip, McSweeney threw a martini glass during one dinner and ravioli at singer during another. A source involved production says if a cast is out at a restaurant, production pays the restaurant bill. On production trip, production stocks the fridge and pantry with requested food and beverages. McSweeney says Shannon phoned her and said, "We need you to be lucid." At Shannon's request, a mental health professional called McSweeney, though they did not mention alcohol. So I find this very interesting that McSweeney has had many of these incidents, right? And production did not get involved until a cast member had to say something. To me, it seems that Shed Media, and like I say, everything's alleged in my own opinion for entertainment purposes only. It seems to me that Shed Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, Bravo, NBC Universal, it seems to me that they allow the drama to get as far as it can get, so that way they can get the best content. And when it gets out of control, that's when they step in. From what I'm seeing of this article, right? So let's keep going. This is part 3 now. There are 7 parts to this, but I think we're going through pretty good. We're on the highways and byways of the possibilities of what can be with Vanity Fair, NBC Universal, Bravo breakdown. I'm glad to have all you here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know there's not a lot of people here. That is okay. I'm going to keep rolling because, like I said, I do believe that this expose deserves to be broken down. And I hope that by me breaking this down, you guys are able to understand the game at hand a little bit easier. Now, like I said, this is my point of view. So everything is, where is it? Everything is alleged. Hang on, wait. Alleged, in my opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes only. So just wanted that to be very clear. And I do not want any hate to Shed Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, NBC Universal, or Bravo, or Vanity Fair, or to anybody in this article. This is public information that I am taking under the Copyright Act for fair use. And I am redistributing it in a way that it is formatted where it's not the same and gives a lot more context. Because reading this article, you will be like, what the hell is all this? That's why I'm doing. I'm breaking this down. We've been on the roads, the highways, byways, and the back roads. So what can be with this for 34 minutes and 31 seconds. Glad to have all of you here. So let's roll on. Other housewives recall similar experience with mental health care providers referred by Bravo. They have a 1-800 number for Dr. Barry. One housewife says of Barry Goldstein, an off-screen psychologist who goes by his first name with Bravo clients. His website, realityshrink.net, notes that he's a board game designer and expert. So y'all give me a moment. Because I've never seen this website before. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to flip this here, okay, for a minute, just so y'all can see who Barry Goldstein is. Okay, so Barry Goldstein received his doctor of psychology degree in clinical psychology in 1995, specializing in psychological testing and consulting. His dissertation focused on research into the creative process. In addition to his clinical expertise, he specialized in working with children, adolescents, and families in the clinical setting and in schools. Immediately after graduation, he flew to Finland to perform his first case of international business consulting with Nokia mobile phone. Dr. Goldstein has partnered with Miller Ginsberg International, one of the first firms in the world to offer psychological services to businesses. For several years, Dr. Goldstein has traveled extensively using psychological evaluation tools for selection and development of executives. In addition, his focus also was on team building and analyzing group dynamics. Dr. Goldstein continued to work with Nokia as well as Sanyo Electronics, Seagram's International. For y'all who don't know, Seagram's Escapes, Seagram's Vodka, and Seagram's Gins. Just to give y'all a little context there. And the regional government of New Zealand. As reality TV ascended to prominence, Dr. Goldstein's experience as a consultant, therapist, and his expertise in practical assessment made him an excellent match for the needs of production companies. He has developed a reputation for creative problem solving, excellent communications, and being ethically above reproach. Developing a new role for himself, Dr. Goldstein has been supporting production companies for over a decade to help steer and guide the creative process. His insight into human behavior, family, and group dynamics, and extensive experience with reality TV has proven exceptionally welcome and useful for the development phase of show creation. So that is who Barry Goldstein is, just to give you guys a little context. Okay, so now that we know who Barry Goldstein is, let's keep rolling. Goldstein has called me on many occasions as a check-in. So as a housewife, which is in her estimation feels like you're not doing what they want you to do. You're not doing what they want to do. Oh, you're not doing what they want to do. Okay, got it. Goldstein did not respond to Vanity Fair's request for comments. According to the source familiar with production, all cast members have access to mental health care resources. So as we keep rolling here, during season 13, which filmed from late 2020 to early 2021, McSweeney was freshly sober, but she struggled with the isolation of COVID, as we all did. That was a time period that I don't think any of us could have ever understood to happen. Ooh. I remember when I was on it, how out of it I was, and how my mom was super mom. I had Gatorade, food, just I had to be still for so long because I was out of it. So prayers up to McSweeney and to everybody who went through that time period, all of us, including the people that are not here anymore. I'm not one of those people that I'm a conspiracy theorist to not believe that COVID did not happen. It happened. And there were people who had to put on masks. Some nurses had to put on hazmat suits and not hug their kids and family members. Some people had to put their hands through glass to do this with their parents, who is the grandparents of their kids, the grandkids. So let's not ignore the pain that has happened just because we don't want to deal with the pain. So, all right. So McSweeney struggled with the isolation of COVID, and her grandmother, who has been a key figure of support, was in hospice. The cast was about to take a trip to Singer's house in the Hamptons, and McSweeney texted Ward and his fellow showrunner, John Paparazzo, "My grandmother is going to die any day now." Adding that the funeral happens while we are in the Hamptons, there's no way I can miss it. Sorry. Paspirano responded, "Obviously hang in there, thinking of you." Soon after the trip began, McSweeney learned her grandmother was losing consciousness. She began having panic attacks. A source involved with production says Ward told her, "Whatever time or day you need to be with your grandma, we're going to make that happen. Don't get stressed out about that. We're on your side and we're going to support you, okay?" But McSweeney felt his tone meant the opposite. A car was arranged for McSweeney when she requested to leave the Hamptons a few hours early. Her grandmother had already died. I'm going to read that one more time. A car was arranged for McSweeney when she requested to leave the Hamptons for a few hours early. Her grandmother had already died. Now, I'm allowing that to breathe for a minute because, for one, Your job is your job, but your family's your family. And I feel with death on reality TV, it should not be covered because some things just need to be private. And she wanted to leave early, and her grandmother had already died. Hey, Cheryl Rose, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much for the love on Instagram. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, I really do feel that that should not have been covered. And listen, I get that this is reality TV, right? But you see somebody at their lowest when they're losing a family member is one thing. But now imagine losing a family member. You've been shooting for 12 hours and cameras, using my glasses as a metaphor, cameras are on. They're zooming in. They're zooming in on your life and filming you, crying, struggling, dougling, smuggling as you are in pain. That's a burden that I don't wish on my worst enemy. So just that's my take. I know it's reality TV, but good damn, where is the line? Where is the line? So some fans questioned why McSweeney had gone to her grandmother earlier. A thread Cohen encouraged and Watch What Happens live after being asked by Cohen about McSweeney and the trip. Former Real Housewife of New York housewife Heather Thompson said, "I think it was better for Leah to go home. It hurt so bad that I was not able to grieve," McSweeney says. That had people not show me any kind of compassion or humanity regarding it. At the same time, McSweeney was trying to maintain a good relationship with producers and convince herself that what happened to the Hamptons was okay. She texted Ward and Paparazzo. Um, Ward and Paparazzo are showrunners on The Real Housewives of New York. Just trying to find my place here. I'm glad I stayed in Long Island because that's what my grandma wanted. McSweeney says, reading the message now, it's like seeing someone Stockholm syndrome. While the season was airing, McSweeney says Shannon told her, "I just think that there was such a stark difference between you when you were drinking versus the season. And that's why the audience kind of didn't like you." A source says McSweeney complained about the audience hating her, but her drinking was not at the center of these conversations. The source also notes that viewers found McSweeney's struggles to be relatable. Nevertheless, McSweeney informed Shannon of her decision to leave the show by phone in late 2021. Weeks later, McSweeney says that she suffered a major depressive episode related to the show and her grandmother's death. Her mother and former long term partner, the father of McSweeney's teenage daughter, moved into. Sorry, y'all. Weeks later, McSweeney says she suffered a major depressive episode related to the show and her grandmother's death. Her mother and former long-term partner of McSweeney's teenage daughter moved into her home and then moved McSweeney into Silver Hill Hospital. She stayed for 8 days, the longest amount of time insurance will cover. So remember that hot sheet that talked about the psychological trauma was the show. And so she was in a psychiatric hospital for 8 days based on an episode related to her show and her grandmother's death. And all the time she had to breathe through all that was only 8 days. I think you need a lot more than 8 days to be able to deal with somebody not being in your life anymore. That's just my take. By the way, we are live on tour with Vanity Fair and NBC Universal Bravo. It was an article from Vanity Fair, and I'm breaking down the article. So in part one, we talked about the setup. That there was a housewife that threw up and vomited and had a shot in her behind. So that was part one. In part two, It was, let me go back. I'm sorry, y'all. We will get back to it in part two. We talked about how much alcohol was used and how there were different beats that producers wanted brought up. And also the N word was brought up by Ramona Singer. Um, so now in part three, we're talking about the psychological aspect of it all. And we were just talking about Leah Miss Sweeney's grandmother passing and how they were allegedly not supportive of McSweeney being able to see her grandmother. So that's where we are right now. Glad to have all you here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm breaking down the whole article. Been on the highways and byways of the possibilities of what could be with this story for 46 minutes and 52 seconds. Now, for those of you who degular, schmegularly come to Virtual Tour Live, we usually cover many topics in one show, but I felt like this expose needed a breakdown, not just from yes. So this is what she's talking about. Cheryl Rose, yes. This is one aspect of it, but I think she was just talking about reality TV and Bravo and how they're disrespectful. So I think that Bethany Frankel and other housewives were contributing to this story. This story recently just came out. Andy Cohen did give a response to it, and I will get to Andy's response as well. I won't be able to play it because I don't want to get copyright or anything like that. But yes, so this article has a heavy involvement into the fight that Bethany Frankel has with reality TV and Bravo. So thank you for that wonderful question. By March 2022, after many hours with a therapist, rabbi, acupuncturist, and healer. So therapist, rabbi, acupuncturist, and healer, McSweeney felt that she was in a better place. Bravo and Shed were casting a season of Ultimate Girls Trip to be filmed in Thailand in July of that year. McSweeney says producers swore it would be different this time. Fun being in the eye of the beholder. That she was offered $250,000 for 1 week of work. That's a big upgrade from $60,000 in one season. That's $250,000. Cohen and an NBC Universal executive told her that she was being considered for Real Housewives New York Legacy, a Real Housewives New York franchise with veteran New York City housewives that might air alongside a rebooted Real Housewives of New York series with a new cast. According to McSweeney, Cohen also said, "Let's get you through Ultimate Girls Trip first." McSweeney says yes. Who said yes? McSweeney got a text from fellow Ultimate Girls Trip cast member Marcel Pan before film began. "I support your sobriety, obviously, and I could never do what you do because I don't have your willpower, and I marvel at what you have done." Pan wrote, and then, but on that note, I wish you were still drinking. That's all. What the hell? So you text a fellow friend allegedly, and cast member, that "I am amazed by the work that you have done, your sobriety, and what you've been through with this platform." And then you go to say that you wish you was still drinking, which could cause her a relapse. Really? Okay. Okay. It is what it is. So, yes, I sent the text message. Pan told Vanity Fair there was a collective memory of the girl running around throwing tiki torches and skinny dipping, and that's who I was hoping to go on vacation with. Regardless of that fact, that was completely out of line because this woman lost her grandmother, could not be there for her grandmother, and for the past trips, she was drunk and she relapsed her sobriety. And she was in a psychiatric hospital for 8 days. So for you to send that text, With all that being said, was just seeing too much. So just though McSweeney was vocally sober, cast member Heather Gay asked McSweeney if she was drinking and said, "Let's get Leah drunk." Another cast member, Giselle Bryant, said to McSweeney, "Like, if you drank this week, would that be a big deal? It would ruin my life," McSweeney said. McSweeney texted Ward, "Did you guys push her, Giselle, to talk about this stuff with me? It's so odd." Ward texted back, "No, did not." McSweeney texted, "I don't need people trying to undermine sobriety." Ward responded, "Get out of your head." Now, I am not going to be surprised that Giselle Bryant wanted to not care about another woman's mental health. Because when Wendy Arfezzo got a drink thrown at her by Mia Thorin on Watch What Happens Live, Giselle said that I internally kikied. It was wrong, but I internally kikied. So I am not surprised that Giselle Bryant does not have a heart for other women. I'm not surprised by that. But yet she says that she's from a lineage of civil rights leaders, right? So not surprised by that. Not surprised by that. During a lunch at Elephant Sanctuary, the cast played a game one McSweeney says the producers came up with, in which they listed the best and worst parts of being a housewife. So McSweeney talked about feeling like she couldn't leave the Hamptons and the depression and the inpatient treatment that followed. According to McSweeney, Ward and Paparazzo, the showrunners came to her room and said, into her room, and Ward said, "Lisa Shannon's pissed at you. Then you're going to get today." A source familiar with production's thinking says Shannon was not unhappy, just confused by McSweeney's belayed upset, as producers had told her she did not need to go on the Hamptons trip at all. The cast began piling on Sweeney, according to people with knowledge, repeatedly telling her on camera that she did not want to be in Thailand. In the confessionals that aired, keyword, the confessionals that aired. So, like I said, they're shooting that part, show Rose, that part. So, with the confessionals, how that works, if you watch reality TV like Big Brother, The Bachelor, or Housewives, basically they will either shoot the confessionals after the season is done, or if it's a really good scene, after that scene happened, they will have a room where they will immediately go into confessionals and give their experience of what happened. So that's how confessionals work. They do not they do not air every confessional. So just a little context there. So, this is a lot, y'all. In the confessionals that air, cast members discuss whether production will have ever pressured them to stay on a trip and not be with a dying grandparent. According to someone with knowledge, there was at least one dissenter, Gay, who said they wouldn't even have to say a word. "I would be afraid to leave and go to my grandmother's funeral. I would not do it." That footage was not included in the show. Several days before Ultimate Girls Trip wrap, McSweeney had a panic attack, which was aired. According to McSweeney, a staff medic gave McSweeney a makeshift IV clipped into a clothes hanger on the bed frame, which then fell and pulled the needle out of her wrist. Now, I've never had IV in me, but I can imagine you are laying in bed and you feel the pain of that needle coming out of you. When McSweeney's condition didn't improve, the crew took McSweeney to the hospital where she was admitted overnight. Two members of production were nearby, and McSweeney started to cry to the nurses. "Just keep them away from me," she said. In November, McSweeney found out from Countess and another cast member, Dorinda Medley, that Legacy would be filming without her. This is a lot. So McSweeney has relapsed many times. She wasn't able to go to her grandmother's funeral. and you hired her for Ultimate Girls Trip, where she had a panic attack with a makeshift IFV on a clothes hanger. Which, why have something that powerful on a clothes hanger? That's not code. I'm not a nurse, but I have common sense. For then the IFV to fall and the needle to come out of her wrist, for her to be admitted to a hospital overnight, and for her to say, keep them away from me, for her to find out that she's not going to be on the new show. And Andy Cohen said, let's get you through Ultimate Girls Trip first. So it sounds like y'all use her as a piece on the chessboard, and then you canceled her out of the chess game because that piece was no longer serving your purpose. Okay. I'm reading this as you are reading it. Okay. So, part 4, y'all. Part 4. On March 10th, 2023, McSweeney and her attorneys at Alden Moss filed an employment discrimination complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission against Bravo, Shed Media, and its parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery. I'm going to say that again. Warner Bros. Discovery, which is connected to the Oprah Winfrey Network, which has Love Mary Huntsville. Just because these production companies are competitors doesn't mean that they don't intermingle. Okay, so just context. Discovery and Cohen, Shannon, Paparazzo, and Ward citing a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. On May 15th, Christy de Lecon, an attorney representing all respondents. So the respondents are Bravo, Shed Media, its parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery, and Cohen, Shannon, Paparazzo, and Ward. So Christy Cohen, representing all those people, denied the claims. The response stated that McSweeney's disability were allowed for and that she was not retaliated against. In fact, the response says production spent endless amounts of time accommodating her and only internally expressed frustration with the fact that she was knowingly misrepresenting what had transpired. The attorney had also pointed out that the complainant herself spent much of Real Housewives of New York season 12, the season of her relapse, discussing and sometimes even mocking the alleged disabilities that are now the subject of the instant complaints. Instead, the complainant's need for affirmation was never ending, but that need was completely separate from any alleged disability. The response noted several instances of support, but McSweeney maintains that those were either subconsciously reneged on or she felt like they weren't offered in good faith. Now, that part, I do not know. There sounds like there's no accountability here, Cheryl. And so my thing is this: making fun of disabilities is ucked up, it's wrong, it's classist, it's trash, and it's a waste of time. With that being said, what happened happened. So I don't get how, with her making fun of disabilities, that her story doesn't matter. I don't get that. Like I said, making fun of disabilities is not cool, it's not right, and it is disgusting. That should be handled with McSweeney on another case. But you cannot deny what has happened to her. That is her experience. Okay? On March 23rd, Ultimate Girls Trip premiered. On episodes of Watch What Happens Live, by the way, Andy Cohen taped some of the episodes of Watch What Happens Live, so it's not live all the time. That aired during the run of the show. Cohen questioned guests about whether McSweeney was fun on the trip. One night this spring, Leah was the drinking game word. Whenever anybody mentioned McSweeney, Cohen instructed viewers to take a drink. Hey, Janika, welcome in. Glad to have you here in the middle of breaking down this article from Vanity Fair. Right now, we are on McSweeney. McSweeney has relapsed several times. She missed her grandmother's funeral, and she got hired for Ultimate Girls Trip for Thailand, only to end up not being on the new show. So we talked about the psychological part with Dr. Goldstein, and then we talked about the dynamics of the cast and race with Ramona Singer. So this is where we are now. So problem drinking isn't the only problem. That was immediately clear to Williams. Ebony K. Williams, a lawyer and TV host who in 2021 became the first black member on Real Housewives of New York. Many other cities have featured black housewives, though casts at that point were largely segregated by race. Beverly Hills, New York, Dallas, New Jersey, and Orange County was mostly white. Atlanta and Potomac mostly black. A virtual education session before filming season 13 covered topics, including black women and how black women are treated in larger society and the black community. Microaggressions, what are they? How do you recognize them? Lexicon, appropriate versus harmful offensive language and missteps. What do you say? What to do when you say something offensive, rather? How do you move forward in that relationship? Williams, McSweeney, Morgan, Singer, and Countess were on the call, as well as an NBC Universal Communications executive, a Bravo publicist, and two representatives from a racial justice organization. I am going to assume that that was the NAACP. I'm going to assume, okay? Williams had never previously met Morgan or Singer. Before the 1 hour session officially began, according to McSweeney and Williams, Morgan commented on the natural hair of the black woman leading the session. Williams, Ebony K. Williams, 40, interrupted the meeting as a cover your ass move. She says it mostly focused on the kinds of things cast members should avoid saying, like the racist trope that black fathers aren't present for their children. Well, if they don't have a father, why can't I say that? Singer said during the meeting, according to Williams. Most of them don't. And you wonder why you weren't at BravoCon? And you wonder why you weren't at BravoCon. You wonder why you weren't at BravoCon because you said the N word about somebody in text message. Oh, Lord. Okay. The Roni publicist, who was also black, told Singer that she has a father. But Singer said that she read a study that confirmed that most black children do not. McSweeney corroborates Williams' account. The tray include open dialogue. Singer said to Vanity Fair in that spirit, asked a question about a statistic that I had read about single-parent households, where children with single-parent household were statistically less likely to succeed than two-parent households. Whether you are in a single-parent household or a dual-parent household, you still have to grow up. You still got to grow up. Later, while filming a scene that did air, Countess, Luann, and Singer expressed on camera their squeamishness around the words such as dick, which they attribute to their backgrounds as church-going and conservative. Williams said that she had no discomfort with sexual language, noting that she was the most educated person at the table, with a Bachelor of Arts and a JD. So I guess a degree in justice, I think. Countess Luann, who's a high school graduate and licensed nurse, said, I don't like the way you talk. When Singer also got upset, Williams said, "Your white fragility is killing me right now," and then had to explain the term. Countess Luann calls Ebony K. Williams a angry woman, which Williams understood implicitly, a angry black woman. "I never referred to your color," Countess Luann said. Williams left, Singer stayed behind. The scene that viewers saw ended there. But the emotional momentum continued. One of the people who remained told Vanity Fair that Ramona slammed her hands on the table. She goes, "This is why we didn't need black people on the show. This is going to ruin our show." Singer emailed Vanity Fair, this absolutely did not happen. In fact, I support adding diverse cast members well before Ebony was added. I saw some of them, but not all. I could care less. So, woo, Lord. So Ramona Singer, who was in this article, just gonna flip this for a second. So this is Ramona Singer here. Okay, this comes to us from page 6. Ramona Singer's schedule is going up in flames. It appears the Real Housewife of New York City. Hang on. I'm gonna play this. Okay, now this is not from Bravo. Okay, so this will hopefully air from pages. Okay, so here we go.
Obviously, Ramona is not here. What message do you hope that sends to Bravo fans?
Well, I mean, I think, listen, not to dwell on it, but I think the events of this week led to her not being here. I think it was the right call, and period. Dot.
What does her future look like on the network?
Well, I mean, we've already shot Roni Legacy, so you will see her there. Okay. Yeah.
Amazing.
So she was supposed to be at BravoCon and has been cut from yet another event following her use of a partial racial slur in a text message to a Page 6 reporter. Singer was slated to appear along fellow Bravo celebrities Dolores Cantilena, Doris Medley, and Teresa Giudice for a series of live shows called Housewives Live New York City versus New Jersey. But the Palace Stanford has removed any inkling of her presence for Thursday show from its website. The original artwork that featured the controversial reality star remains on Singer's Instagram. A box office employee told Page 6 that they didn't have any information and were waiting to hear more on the situation with Singer. A rep for the Palace confirmed that Singer was no longer part of the lineup for the show. But Friday's show at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Atlantic were currently slated to proceed as scheduled. But a rep for the venue confirmed to Page 6 Tuesday morning that she had been cut. "We will send out email to purchasers in regards as soon as possible." Saturday's live show at the Santa Arena and Performance Center in Reading, Pennsylvania, had been canceled entirely. The shakeup of Sunday show at Big Night Live also asked Singer from Live. The shakeup comes after Bravo cut the real estate agent for BravoCon this past weekend, following her headline-making action. Sources also confirmed that Douglas Elliman fired last Tuesday after both the scandalous text message and the Vanity Fair expose shine a light on her alleged racism. The article now I'm reading now. So although Bravo asked Singer for the 3-day festival, her 28-year-old daughter Avery still made an appearance to promote her Batch Boss business. "I love my mom and wish she could be here," emotional Avery told the Messenger Friday during the Las Vegas convention. "I know she's so proud of us." While Ramona wasn't there in spirit, she still managed to attend BravoCon in spirit when Peacock debuted its trailer for Real Housewives of the Girls Trip, Real Housewives of New York Legacy, which prominently featured the troubled reality star. So that will be premiered on December 14th on Peacock. So, let me share this tab instead here. Sorry, So, as you can see here, the real estate brokers comment about Real Housewives of New York. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can zoom in there. Okay. The real estate brokers comment about Real Housewives of New York not needing black people reportedly made producers hot sheet, a post-film document that recounts on-air, on-camera dialogue and action detail. This was never on the hot sheet. If you read the Vanity Fair article, please remove. That was changed yesterday. And the word I used was N-word, not that, which I think it was that word, okay? So she texted that word, while trying to downplay the N-word to a page in the text to page 6. Her alleged use of the racial slur became a complaint within Shed Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, and Bravo, and NBC Universal. But Singer denied saying the term and internal investigation was inconclusive. So I'm reading that article right now, breaking it down for y'all. A lot going on. A lot going on. I feel what you're saying, Cheryl Rose. BravoCon is a bit ridiculous, but also too, BravoCon is like the Becca of reality TV. So you watch these shows on Bravo now to experience all of them in front of your face live. That's like times 10. So I get why BravoCon is a really good marketing, promotion, branding move, because BravoCon can loop a lot of different shows, a lot of different storylines that's made at BravoCon can get on the show, which keeps the cycle of Bravo going. So, but I get what you're saying, though. Absolutely. So it says here, the hot sheet. Sorry, the hot sheet went out several days later to a group that included Andy Cohen, and other NBC Universal executives. It did not note, however, that Singer allegedly said the show didn't need black people. A court on October 24th, 2020, Andy Cohen responded via email, "These are incredible reads and will be amazing episodes. The fact that this particular journey through white fragility ends with Ramona D. Emmy Bryan Cranston next level." Now, Bryan Cranston, if I'm not mistaken, is the person from Breaking Bad. I need Andy to explain something to me. He doesn't have to explain to me, but I do think he should explain it to the people. Because Andy's very selective. And of course he has to be, because he's the master of ceremonies for all of this, right? So hashtag heaviest that wears the crown. So the hot sheet that said that Ramona slammed her hands on the table and she goes, "This is why we didn't need black people on the show. This is going to ruin our show." How can you, Andy Cohen, say these are incredible reads and will be amazing episodes? So the fact that there had to be a read of a black woman telling a white woman her white fragility is agitating her, that's a great read. Okay. All right. Listen. We are live on tour with Vanity Fair in this Bravo expose. We have been on the highways and byways with the story for 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 39 seconds. Glad to have all of you here. So in part one, we talked about Leah Sweeney, that she was drinking and that she threw up and that she had to have a shot in her behind. So that's part one. Part two was the minutia of Bravo and alcohol, right? Part three was the psychology of it all with the reality shrink, Barry Goldstein. Part four is the racial antithesis of how they deal with race. Okay. So it says here now, I don't know. Sorry, y'all. It says here, if you were the most successful housewife ever, you will not be able to chart without charting also absolute emotional destruction, public humiliation, divorce, death, crime, prison, shame, misogyny, and just an onslaught of pure hate. That season, Ramona Singer also allegedly told a black woman staffer, "There's so many of you guys here now. Please don't change your hair, as I'm not going to be able to remember anybody's names." I mean, I'm not a black woman, but I'm black, and this is pissing me the hell off. I'm gonna read that one more time. Ramona Singer allegedly said this to a black woman staffer. "There's so many of you guys here now. Please don't change your hair, as I'm not going to be able to remember anybody's names." Singer said this was the kind of thing she commonly did, as strictly as a commentary on my inability to remember names. Really though? Would you say this to white people? "Hey, can you not switch up your hair because I'm not going to remember your name?" Okay. As an example, just last week I saw a photo with me and Travis Kelce from 2016 Watch What Happens Live, and I thought he was Jax Taylor. She immediately emailed Vanity Fair referring to a Vanderpump Rules cast member. Now, usually, if you're going to a show like Watch What Happens Live, they usually let you know who's on with you. So that's BS. I don't believe it. Not here, not there, not anywhere. Sam, I am. According to two people familiar with production, Singer exclaimed, there's so many black chicks." Singer denies saying this, though that footage aired in the season shows her using the phrase "black chicks." There's so many black chicks. I'm just going to say this. Maybe Ramona should just be fired from the show completely. Just a thought. Darren Edelmanson, Harrington before she married, was senior producer on season 13, her first Bravo production. No one ever said officially why I was hired, but Ebony was the first black talent that was brought on for New York, Edmondson told Vanity Fair. "I think they were specifically looking for a black female producer." A source involved with production says new producers are typically introduced to the cast, but that didn't happen with the new black hires on Real Housewives of New York. If the cast is not being told from the executives, these people are here to do X job, that person said, this cast is going to make up their minds who they talk to, who they don't talk to. Emerson says she wasn't able to produce Morgan, Countess Luann, or Singer. They simply didn't respond to her texts or calls the same way that other cast members did. It seems so unusual. Singer spoke to her after a scene filmed on November 6, 2020 in Singer's home. Here's how the hot sheet described the conversation. Ramona says she does not want to talk about race, religion, or creed. Ramona tries to change the subject again, asking about who is Ebony dating. She asks Ebony if the guy is black, white, or what. Ebony says that she thought Ramona didn't want to talk about color. Ramona says, now I have to watch what I'm saying with you. I feel like whatever I say is wrong. Now, I'm I'm not going to say that Morgan, Countess Luann, or Ramona Singer are racist. But if you can respond to other producers' texts, but you can't respond to a black producer, something in the Kool-Aid ain't sweet. And when a producer texts you, you should text that producer back. That's just common courtesy. So either you're right, even though you didn't want to talk about race. A person who sees Hot Sheets said that while they don't recall that one specifically, they would not dispute it. After the scene, Ebony Williams left. Emerson remained, she says, at Warden Paparazzo's instruction. A source familiar with production denies Paparazzo asked her to stay. Singer told Emerson that her interaction with Williams reminded her of when Jewish colleagues used a Catholic slur with her when she was a young woman and called her Shishka, a Yiddish term for a non-Jewish woman. Emerson had heard the word before and asked her and later had to ask her mother what it was. According to Emerson, she said, Ramona, I have no idea what you're talking about. To which Singer said, oh, it's literally like somebody calling you a nigga. Y'all, I'm biting my lip so I can stay calm. Because to me, Ramona Singer is racist. From what I'm seeing in this article and from what I'm reading of this article, she is racist. For you to sit there in front of a black producer and equate Shishka to a word that is offensive, and to say it out loud in front of a black producer that's working on this production, that you never respond to her text messages, even though she's a black producer on the show, but you respond to other people's black text messages. Not black text messages, but you respond to other producers' text messages. And you wonder why you weren't Bravo. Okay. Okay. Singer says she's never said the N-word. That this account is a misrepresentation. I did not describe an incident where I was called a shishka while working in college, she wrote, but I did not compare the two experiences. Edmund wrapped up the conversation without addressing what Singer had just said, and Singer thanked her. But she discussed the moment with a shocked colleague and sent her husband and a friend text messages about what happened, which Vanity Fair reviewed. Then Edmondson started crying. Should have said something. She says she told herself. Ebony's fighting this fight this season. She said that she talked to Warren Paparazzo about that night. They said, I'm so sorry that happened to you. According to multiple people who worked on season 13, other production members went to Warner Brothers Discovery HR about Singer's comments throughout the season. Emerson endeavored to make herself feel better. At least she's getting comfortable around me, was how she rationalized Singer's ease of using the N-word. I just want to say to Emerson, you should never have felt comfortable with that behavior. That was wrong. That was crass. That was trifling. That was see you next Tuesday behavior. And she was not here for the hot tea. She was not. That was this. There's no words. And then people wonder why we have BET. They wonder why we have TV One. They wonder why we have OWN. Because we're not respected in other areas. Unless we are an acceptable version of black that's tolerable. Ooh, okay. I always feel like Darian and I had a great relationship, Singer told Vanity Fair. Really? You felt like that y'all had a great relationship, but yet you never respond to her text messages though? Okay. Well, on a different day of filming with Ebony Williams, Emerson recalls we literally broke down hysterically and cried in each other's arms. I never in my life, in a decade of working in TV, ever seen an emotion like that with a cast member. Williams had tried to quit the show November 6th, the same day that Singer allegedly used the N word, though Williams did not know about the incident at the time. On November 9th, Williams said that war paparazzo Shane implored her to stay over a video call. Williams says they told her, listen, what you're giving us is exactly what we want. If we want a different black woman, we know how to get them. Shannon suggested Williams bear the racial animus she was experiencing more lightly. As Ebony Williams recalls, it reminded her, Ebony, this show is a comedy. There is nothing funny about a black woman being uncomfortable, being disrespected. There's nothing funny about it. That's not comedy. Producers deny that Williams tried to quit and they asked her to stay, though someone with knowledge says a producer told Ebony and others genuinely that Real Housewives is particularly comic in nature. The viewers tend to see the show as an escape. Well, no, ish. That's what parasocial relationships are. However, it's getting to the white meat. Emails review Vanity Fair show runner paparazzo award. She had a Zoom call with Williams, Ebony Williams, on November 9th. We're almost there, y'all. At the last dinner of the season at Singer's Hampton's home, a party planner hired by production set the table with raw cotton. According to some, it was supposed to look like snow. Once again, Williams had to provide context. Shay acknowledges the situation, and they said they addressed it immediately. Now, I know that cotton, can be used for snow and stuff. But, there had to be, some white confetti, or you could even did, the white, tinsel as snow, or just do pine cones and just spray paint them. But, ooh, but it wasn't until after the season began airing in 2021, almost a year later, that Ebony Williams heard the Singer had been reported to Warner Brothers HR, and that had been determined that Singer said that she had difficulty telling black crew members apart. At that point, Ebony Williams, requested a series of meetings with NBC Universal. During one meeting with NBC Universal executives and an outside lawyer, Williams said that she was told an investigation into whether Singer had said the show didn't need black people was inconclusive. Williams said someone on the call confirmed the company determined that Singer had said the N-word. But Williams says the lawyer, who was not representing NBC Universal, tried to downplay the issue. To paraphrase, Singer did not call Edmondson the N-word. She just said the N-word. Williams says that NBC Universal's chief diversity officer, who is biracial, was present. He told the lawyer, no, what we're not going to do is sit here and litigate the capacity in which the N-word was used in the presence of a black woman. Shout out to that chief diversity officer putting their soul in this thing of we're not doing this ish. Not yesterday, not today, and not tomorrow. Because I would have said the same damn thing. NBC Universal did not comment. Williams says that was the only time I felt like anybody on the other side of this had any competency. Well, I recognize even in the midst of my own trauma is I still had the most power of any black person involved in this thing, Williams says. These are just young black women trying to go to fucking work. Fucking work. Emerson has not been hired for a Bravo series since her one and only Real Housewives of New York season, which ended filming in 2021. For the first time in Housewives history, the reunion, which films about a month before the finale airs, was canceled. At the time, Bravo attributed this to scheduling challenges, but now a source with knowledge says the reunion was put on hold during investigation into Singer's conduct. It ultimately never happened. Roni, Real Housewives of New York, went off the air for almost 2 years. When it came back, it had new cast in the Legacy Ultimate Girls Trip, starring singer Countess Luann Morgan, helmed by Paparazzo, which filmed in St. Barths in June of 2023. Chad produced as well the Ultimate Girls Trip that season that Singer filmed 3 months before Real Housewives of New York season 13 wrapped. A lot going on. Part 5, y'all. So part 4 dealt with race. Now we're on part 5. Someone familiar with production says as soon as Shed became aware of concerns related to conduct on the Real Housewives of New York season 13 production, producers immediately reached out to the affected employees to make sure they were supported, and Shed hired an outside investigator to conduct a thorough and confidential investigation where issues were substantiated, appropriate corrective action was taken. These measures were taken over 2 years before the casting of Ultimate Girls Trip, St. Bart's Legacy. Sources differ on when the allegations of Singer's use of the N-word were communicated between the companies, which illustrates how complicated the processes the reported chains can become on these shows. Why do they stay? It's a promotional machine unlike anything that you can even buy, says Williams, who tried to develop her own show with Bravo after season 13. Money and clout, McSweeney says McSweeney. One housewife wonders who she would be otherwise. Is there any wonder why we cling to it well past its expiration date? Frankel is one of the few examples of a Bravo star whose success transcends the network. Even she hasn't cleaved herself completely. Franco quit the show and sold the cocktail division of her of her company Skinny Girl for a report 100 million while filming a Bravo spinoff. Returned, then quit again. Then developed several more shows with Bravo in 2022. She started a podcast about the Real Housewives called Rewives, distributed by iHeart Podcasts. Frankel says that former Real Housewives of New York castmate and former best friend Joe Zarian, July 2023 appearance on her podcast is what prompted her to reevaluate her relationship with Bravo and reality TV generally. The truth about what came up on that podcast is, like everything in this story, complicated. Has been the subject of housewife infighting and proxy wars in page 6. In page 6 on Watch What Happens Live and amongst fans. Disclosure, I am one. On Just Be, Frankel's other podcast, Zarian revealed that she did not know Frankel would be filmed attending the January 2018 funeral for Zarin's husband, Bobby. She wouldn't have looked like that had she known. She said, hand to God, should Bobby turn over his grave, Frankel believes Zarin was aware. A source with production knowledge tells Vanity Fair that a spokesperson for Zarin indeed had reached out and invited filming at the funeral. Zarin supposedly also invited a crew to Shiva, but they declined. Zarin told Vanity Fair that her former publicist suggested asking if Shed wanted to film the funeral. Bobby had loved being a house husband while Zarin was a cast member from 2008 to 2011. Zarin agreed it's an honor for Bobby to be honored on national television and be respected. She says the emails went back and forth with a suggestion for a made-for-TV Shiva. But Zarin said her ultimate understanding was that there would not be enough cameras present outside the service. Zara says she was not upset that production came afterward, what she calls a ucking ambush or a fucking ambush, that she wasn't prepared or paid for what would become a huge, heavily promoted Bravo moment, the long-awaited televised reconciliation with Frankel, her estranged best friend. Zarin says she wouldn't have asked to be compensated if they had documented Bobby's memorial because she considered that tribute to him. Otherwise, she says she would have said, write me a check for $100,000 and put it to the memorial fund. She also wasn't happy when Cohen later indicted Zarin. When Cohen later indicted Zarian was lying about knowing it would be filmed. Yet, even after all this, Zarin still wanted to be on Bravo. In 2021, she starred on Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2, which was produced by Shed, the production company Zarin says crashed Bobby's funeral. I want to vomit at how I kissed Andy's ass to come back, Zarin says now. She says she was in talks to join the Legacy cast, but negotiating ended because Bravo was offering less money than Zarin felt that she deserved. So, Jill Zarian also had a situation with someone passing, and they used this as a moment for reality TV. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. We're on part 6. Part 6. On July 21st, Frankel now posted a infamous TikTok in which she grapples with assailing a grieving widow for TV and calls for a reality reckoning. It got a lot of pickup. Frankel says, now it seemed fairly obvious to me. Then I said, how am I going to go further with this? I can't just talk and not do something. In addition, she stated her goal of securing future rights for cast and crew with input from SAG-AFTRA. Frankel says she's planning to meet with network and streaming executives about approving conditions on reality productions. The housewife quandary sounds a bit like problem gambling, and the house always wins, which Bravo reminds cast members. People are going to like you because we edited you well. So don't worry, McSweeney says Cohen told her before her first season premiered. We're literally walking to the casino where we think we're going to change our family's life, make a fortune, ride off into the sunset, one housewife says. But if you were, say, the most successful housewife ever, you will not be able to chart it. I said that earlier. But I will say it again. If you were, say, the most successful housewife ever, you will not be able to chart without charting also absolute emotional destruction, public humiliation, divorce, death, crime, prison, shame, misogyny, or just an onslaught of pure hate. Bravo and its partners who make these shows employers at the end of the day, based on documents shared with Vanity Fair, a contract might state that cast members will only be paid for the episodes in which they appear, which may be fewer than the number that they film. However, their obligations, including promotion and filming, continue for the duration of the contract. Outside unscripted work and press opportunities may be subject to approval requirements. There are non-disclosure agreements as well as non-disparagement agreements, which Frankel has rallied against. Confidentiality clauses are standard practices in reality TV to prevent disclosure of storylines prior to air, the network wrote in a statement to Variety. Any current or former cast and crew is free to discuss and disclose any allegedly unlawful acts in the workplace, such as harassment or discrimination, or any conduct they have reason to believe is inappropriate. And then there is a waiver of privacy clause. 2 Warner Brothers contracts with Bravo talent viewed by Vanity Fair state the appearance, actions, sounds, and statements of artists and others, and the information relayed or revealed thereby may be of a personal, private, surprising, defamatory, disparaging, embarrassing, offensive, and otherwise unfavorable or injurious nature, may be factual or fictional, and may expose the artist to public ridicule, humiliation, or condemnation, and may portray the artist in a false light. When Frankel first read her contract, she decided, I can navigate this. I'm just a different breed. She also says, I was a prostitute at the highest rate possible and was aware that there was a transaction that was happening and I was going to benefit from it. Bravo had made its adjustments based on information that leads from Trouble Productions. The next Ultimate Girls Trip to air will be Shan Paparazzo's Legacy Edition, which it switched slots with what was supposed to be the fourth season, which filmed in Morocco months before Legacy. In January 2023, People published a story about how castman Brandy Glanville allegedly kissing co-star Carolyn Malinzo multiple times throughout the evening without her consent during filming. The following month, Page Six reported that on the same night, Glanville allegedly pinned Caroline against the wall and put her hands on Caroline's breast area and vaginal area. During a March interview, Manzo, who had not publicly made any accusations, said, "I cannot say much, only because it's not only because it's not good for my headspace. Hmm. I would imagine it would unfold on the series where it airs, and said it will be a lot said then." Though her attorney Derek Smith declined to comment to Vanity Fair, the same Manville attorney sent Warner Brothers a letter that read the entire indictment was comprised on some flirtatious conduct and kissing between Miss Manzino and Miss Glanville, and all of it was absolutely mutual and consensual, and called for it to release all footage. Hmm. Hmm. So Brandy Glanville is an interesting character. She's been accused of this many times of not respecting people's space. And just the simple fact here of the clauses and how the clauses, the contracts make the cast have kind of a mental ball gag in their mouth that they can't take off once they put on. Glanville says that she and Manzino were never alone, and no one from production stepped in at any point. Glanville had behaved similarly on a previous season of Ultimate Girls Trip. Glanville says NBC Universal executives sent positive feedback to the cast. Cast member Phaedra Parks told Vanity Fair she was sober that evening and observed Glanville and Manzino's interaction as nothing short of a modern-day Harlequin romance. Love was winning. Of course, Phaedra would say something like that. Lord help. You're not in your right mind, and you want to give them good TV. Says Glanville, the whole point of these shows is to get us unhinged. If there was an issue or situation where someone's uncomfortable in Morocco, no one in production or the crew or cast intervened in the moment. Glanville said that she heard nothing until she started posting about Bravo and Ultimate Girls Trip on social media while she was hospitalized for information in October, at which point she got a text from Barry Goldstein, who she'd never heard of, telling her he was a psychologist who wanted to call her in for a check-in. Bravo had recently announced the season would premiere in 2024, though a source with knowledge of executives says the network is still discussing whether it will air at all. On October 20th, Manzino's lawyer filed suit on behalf of Morocco Vega against NBC Universal, Bravo, Peacock, Warner Brothers, Shed, and Force Productions, a subsidiary of Shed. Vega, who was an on-screen butler for a Ultimate Girls Trip art, alleges Glanville sexually harassed Vega and that Parks smacked his bottom. Defendants condoned, and even encouraged Ms. Glanville's sexually aggressive, offensive conduct on others on the sets, the suit says. Warner Bros. Does not comment on pending litigation. This is a lot. Sorry, I'm just. Don't give me a moment. I think I got a dry lip, y'all. I'm just trying to peel it off. Okay. I think I got most of it. Okay. So let's finish out this article here. So other reality shows at other networks have to make corrections. The Bachelor reportedly instituted a 2 drink-an-hour restriction after 2 intoxicated Bachelor in Paradise cast members reportedly had a on-camera sexual encounter. That was a very big controversy. On the British dating show Love Island, past cast members have said that they are allowed 2 units of alcohol a day, and rigorous mental health protocols were put in place following the suicides of 2 former cast members and longtime show hosts, which I wrote about for this magazine. On Netflix of its Blind, a day series with single season cast, a cast member accused production accused producer a cast member accused producers of not supporting her with mental health care, although emails viewed by Vanity Fair show that she was offered post show therapy. This month, a cast member filed suit asserting that she was sexually assaulted while under 24-hour surveillance, and no producers intervened. Chris Colleen, the creator of Love is Blind and CEO of Connect Entertainment or Connect Content, told People that casts are not filmed or managed around the clock and that we cannot be accountable if someone doesn't tell us that they have a concern. On Connect shows like Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, and Married at First Sight, professionals interview each cast member prior to filming to evaluate whether they're in a headspace to be on and subconsciously off reality television. Similar protocols are in place on Love Island, The Bachelor, and MTV's The Challenge. Frankel says she underwent emotional and psychological testing during casting for The Apprentice, which aired on NBC. A source with knowledge of the casting process clarified why psych evaluations take place for the competition series like Top Chef and Project Runway. Unstructured, unscripted series like Real Housewives only require partners to have already cast talent speak with a psychologist in a meeting NBC Universal calls Intro to Psych. McSweeney Williams, Ebony Williams, and Bethany Frankel said say that they did not talk to a mental health professional before filming a Bravo show, though a source with knowledge says Leah McSweeney and Ebony Williams completed Intro to Psych. Two other housewives told me that they had Intro to Psych phone sessions with Goldstein, but in their view, that the calls did not achieve the stated goal of establishing a rapport with the show's psych early on. The general murkiness about the level and type of care provide extends into the language of the guidelines. A representative for Shed says that going forward, cast will even have more touch points with the show's psychologists. Burn Murray Productions president Julie Pitsey oversees The Challenge, one of the few long-running reality shows outside Bravo with repertory cast. Burn Murray is the production company that brought us The Real World and Road Rules via MTV. The Challenge has evolved its approach through multiple instances of racism and a 2009 accusation of sexual assault. Pitsey says medical professionals who have worked with the same contestants over many years are on call 24 hours a day during filming. Counseling is available once production wraps. If producers see cast members order what they deem to be too much alcohol, they get cut off. On April 2nd of 2023, Vanderpump Rules star Rachel Leviss entered inpatient mental health treatment for 3 months following a season on which her affair with a castmate known as Scandival became the show's central plotline and national news story. Despite Bravo's knowledge of Levis's residential care, Cohen subconsciously declined to correct Levis's castmates on multiple episodes of Watch What Happens Live when they said she was actually at a spa and implied that she was faking her mental health issues. Cohen also repeatedly asked what guests thought about Levi's and her mental health. Saturday Night Live star Chloe Finman called her a filthy whore, and Cohen laughed. After the reunion, he speculated in a Variety interview that Levi's had been very medicated at the taping, during which her co-star Ariana Madix, whose ex-boyfriend Levi's had the relationship with, told Levi's, "Fuck yourself with a fucking cheese grater." Cohen did not intervene. So because of what has happened with reality TV, they have had to tighten up the rules. But it seems to me that as loose and fluid and as broken as unscripted television is, it seemed like the processes of reality TV and how to go about creating reality TV are also just as broken. Fascinating. It says here, this is part 7. This is the last part. You can't be the leader of the universe and then act like you don't know what's going on in it, Frankel says of Andy Cohen. I was a part of it, Frankel says. I wanted to be Andy's favorite. I love that I was Andy's favorite. I love that I was able to make good television and produce at the same time. I loved it that producers knew I was the best. I was the machine. I was in the machine. I was the machine. I created the machine of her new mission to remake the medium that made her. Frankel says it's my repentance, presented with the idea that she might participate in Frankel's organizing. Ebony Williams said, fuck Bethany Frankel. You think I'm going to let some white girl speak for me with my experience of a multi-billion-dollar corporation? Okay. On September 22nd, 2023, after Vanity Fair began discussing the story of representatives from Warner Bros. Discovery and NBC Universal Entertainment Chairman Francis Berwick sent out a message to production partners. This message included a new alcohol policy. Building on our current protocols, we require that you deliver an expanded alcohol-related training to the cast, crew, and production team. Berwick also wrote about the enhanced mental health support, including on-set psychological support during and after filming and at reunions, as well as care after filming. According to the Mill, there will reportedly be a on-set human resource representative for shows where NBC Universal determines additional support may be warranted. And a Bravo representative told Vanity Fair there will also be a daily communication to NBC Universal separate and apart from general production notes, flagging any health, safety, or respect issues that may have arisen to quickly address concerns. 4 days before Berwick memo went out, Bravo aired an episode of The Real Housewife of Salt Lake City on which Gay drank espresso martinis until she vomited. Urinated? It was unclear what fluid was pouring out of Gay onto the floor of the Sprinter van. Cohen was there to quiz her about it on the episode of Watch What Happens Live that aired on September 26th. He handed her an espresso martini to sip as punishment if she declined to answer any questions during a drinking game. I cannot. So there was an episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City where a cast member drank a drink and then re-traumatized them by drinking the same drink on live TV. Okay. One day later, on September 27th, the surprise guest of Watch What Happens Live was Ramona Singer. Cohen pulled her onto his lap, embracing her. On October 23rd, Cohen teased that Singer was going to appear on Watch What Happens Live again. She sat in the front row of the audience, and the drinking word of the night was Ramona. Her name was uttered 8 times. As the story went to press, Singer was still scheduled to appear on a panel at BravoCon November 5th. I want to burn it down, one housewife told me in March. I don't, I said. There still is. I still hope there's a way to keep making Bravo shows about cast members feel like they ruined their lives. Can't humanity be made into entertainment humanely? I put this to another housewife, the one who dreamed of being famous. I take umbrage with humanely, she says. Have you ever seen what it takes to train a Navy SEAL to become a professional athlete? There's nothing humane about the process to do it. And there's nothing humane about the game of football. And I fucking love it. And with that being said, that is the article, y'all. That was a lot, y'all. That was 18 pages. Okay. I almost fell asleep. As y'all could tell. That was a lot. So what I got from the article was that the humanity in reality TV is done. That what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and that when you sign on to reality TV, your life that you used to have is no longer yours. That's why I genuinely felt from this. And the layers of this story, from the grandmother funeral, from Leah McSweeney, to Jill Sarian's husband passing away, to Ebony K. Williams, um, being uncomfortable, being the only black girl and a black producer being disrespected, and the alcohol that they allow in these shows, and the HR complaints that don't get taken seriously. This expose shows that there is a reckoning happening. And it's just quite sad. So I hope you guys enjoyed the article. I'm going to drop the link. I know it was a long article. I usually drop the link at this point anyway. I'm going to turn off my camera for a second, because that was a lot to say on camera and read for y'all. That was a lot to stay on camera and read for. It is mind-boggling to me, and the link is pinned, by the way, if you guys want to come up. It is mind-boggling to me that all this was allowed to happen. And I can tell you right now that if they don't do something at Bravo soon, I promise you, the reckoning is not going to be well. No reckoning is ever well. But with this, I don't know if Bravo will be able to move forward in the same way that they have before. I sincerely do not know. So I'm just going to be real about it. And yeah, that's just, so if y'all want to come up, y'all are more than welcome to. That was a lot. And I want to give credit to the author of the article. So this article is by Anna Peel and photography by Jillian Lobb. So I'm going to show y'all the page, just so that way, this is all copacetic. Okay, so I just want to show y'all that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So Anna Peel is a contributor for Vanity Fair. So she wrote about Love Island and the fashion world as well. So just wanted that to be known, okay? That this is a real article, and I basically took the article from here, copied it, all that stuff. So this is the article. That's the link there. You see that there. So, woo, that was quite a lot. That was quite a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It took 2 hours to do it, but I felt like it needed to be done, and I'm glad that I did it. I really, truly, truly am glad that I did this, because there was no other way to do this. There was no other way to do this. And I am so glad that we did what we need to do. You know what I mean? So yeah. Oh, Lord Jesus. Well, y'all, let's go ahead and end this thing with the Daily Motivator because I think this has been a long enough show. Um, I don't know if I will do a show tomorrow or not because this was quite a lot. I'm going to be real with y'all. But we shall see. I've been looking up other stories throughout the day for tomorrow's show. So just stay tuned to my YouTube channel to see what is happening with that. I want to thank everybody who came through tonight: Cheryl Rose, Janika Thompson, and De Silva Silva. Love you very much, Queen, for that as well. So, with that being said, let's get to the Daily Motivator and get on out of here, y'all, because it is 8:02, and we've been on for 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We have been on tour talking about the Vanity Fair and Bravo expose, broke it down, everything in between. From Martin Luther King: if a man hasn't discovered something he would die for, he isn't fit to live. A bit extreme, but I think I get what he's saying. So, with that being said, let's do what we do and read the Daily Motivator for today, Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Add life to life. This day, the situation beckons you to add life to your life. Now is when you step forward to satisfy the stirrings of your soul. Adventure is not some distant concept. It begins wherever you are, the moment you act from the truth of who you are and all you love. Challenges and complications get in the way, and they're all a part of the experience. They provide ample opportunity to deepen your commitment and to sweeten the rewards. You transform your life into a meaningful endeavor 1 hour at a time. Here now is another golden hour with which you can bring enduring value into existence. It's tempting to decline the opportunity to wrap yourself in the comfort of doing nothing, yet so much more is possible. You deserve all the richness you're capable of creating and experiencing. As time moves forward, you choose to move forward with it, always adding new life to life. Ralph Lawson. I really thank you so much, Cheryl Rose. I appreciate it. I hope I did a good job. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to break this article down in a way that gave you context about the industry where hopefully it wasn't team too much, but also it made it easier to be able to understand. Because if you read that article by yourself, it would be a lot of what the hell's going on. But I think being able to break down the behind the scenes minutia of how reality TV works, and also responding to the humanity that was in this article, I think did a world of good to showcase that what we see is not everything that is true. And so I hope that I gave life, context, depth, breadth, and a energy that made all of us feel that when we watch Bravo, to give a little love, a little grace, and a little space to what we're seeing on the screen. And I hope I did a good job of that. You made it very understandable. I would not have been able to read it. Let me tell you something. It came out to 18 pages on my Google Docs. It came out to 18 pages. What the hell? But you know what, though? I wanted to try something different with this. And I feel like I did a very good job of taking a singular topic, doing what I do with Love and Marriage Huntsville and with Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine, and do it in a article that encompassed reality TV. So no, I appreciate the comment very, very much, Cheryl Rhodes. With this daily motivator, I feel that adding life to life is a journey, not a destination. The life that I'm adding to life right now at 29 is taking a chance on myself with this YouTube channel. I never would have thought to do live shows on YouTube. I would never thought to do this. But I recognize the scripture of your gifts will make room for you. So adding life to life, there are levels to adding life to life. Number two, I think a lot of times in life, the reason why we feel so overwhelmed with everything is because we don't know how to let go of the unknown. I'm going to say that again. The reason why life becomes so overwhelming sometimes is because we don't let go of the unknown. And the unknown is scary, it's crazy, and it is terrifying. However, within the unknown can also be something beautiful. And I think we have to recognize that for everything that can be bad in the world can also be good in the world. And I think we have to recognize, and a friend of mine said this to me last night, it's not that the world is crazy, but it's the people in it that make it crazy. Now, I still think the world is crazy. Okay? I still think that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that too, Cheryl Rose. Thank you. I still believe the world is crazy. Okay, I'm not changing that, but I do agree that the world can only be as crazy as it can get because of what we contribute to the world. I always say this: everybody is a problem and everybody's a solution. So we can either add to the world, we can subtract to the world, but either way, the world is spinning. One of the words of a song, we got ourselves going in circles, round and round and round and round. And finally, when it comes adding life to life, recognize in order for the best of life, in order to add the best of life to the best of your life, it takes time. I'm going to say that again. To add the best of life to the best of your life, it takes time. I'm going to say that one more time, hashtag for the one more time. To add the best life to the best of your life, it takes time. For some of us, we're not married. For some of us, we're not where we want to be financially. For some of us, we haven't lived out all of our dreams. Recognize that the best life that you have right now is best for where you are right now. And just because the best of your life has not happened to you does not mean that the best life has not happened to you right from this space right here, right now. Because I put too much pressure on myself, as we probably often all do in some shape, form, or capacity, to conquer everything because the world says to conquer it. Meanwhile, your mental clock, your mental gauge, and your mental engine may not have the capacity, capability, and comprehension to be able to hit the pedal, to go that hard on the trip. Sometimes it's best to just take it mile by mile and enjoy the ride. So with that being said, I think it is time for the best outro on YouTube. This has been a very interesting virtual tour live. I hope you have enjoyed it. To everybody who will be watching this on the replay, I know that usually my virtual tour lives are 2 hours long, but I do hope that you watch the whole thing because this article needed to be talked about on YouTube. I know that people have broken it down the bullet points, but I felt that was the most powerful to actually read it verbatim. Because with the Cliff Notes version, not saying the Cliff Notes version doesn't matter, but the Cliff Notes version takes the power away from the soul of how the article is supposed to be read. So with that being said, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want born special, because you are always born a blessing. And trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why is one thing to call yourself? It's another thing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. Hopefully by spending time together, we'll rise to be great together. And always remember, where you're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life, or just recognizing that just because you have the power to control the environment doesn't mean that you should disrespect the people in the environment. I'm going to say that one more time because I think it needs to be said one more time. Just because you control the environment doesn't mean you have the right to disrespect the people within that environment. Make sure the replay is not just worth for you to watch it, not just worth for you to listen to it, but for you to want to experience it again. I love you. I value you. I embrace you all. I'll see you real soon. Good night, everybody. Enjoy these fireworks for the day that you've had and for the day that is to come. Congratulations, you made it. Be proud of yourself. Whatever obstacles you have overcome, or whatever successes you have achieved on this very day, I am extremely proud of you. But if nobody else is proud of you, be proud of your damn self. I'll see y'all soon. Good night, everybody.